In this story, a 32-year-old man reflects on his relationship with his 27-year-old girlfriend, detailing how it ultimately led to his decision to leave her. He outlines the progression of events that raised the suspicions about her loyalty and trustworthiness, which ultimately stemmed from past experiences of being cheated on in previous relationships. The couple had been together for 8 months and had planned a trip to a convention. Shortly before their trip, the girlfriend excitedly informed him that she had made a new friend who was giving them free tickets to the event. While this initially seemed like a positive development, it soon began to raise red flags for him. She mentioned that she had accidentally flirted with this new friend and seemed unsure about whether she should feel guilty about it. When he asked if the new friend was aware of her relationship status, she replied no, explaining that people are often less likely to offer help or free tickets if they know someone is in a committed relationship. This revelation made him uncomfortable, especially considering his history of infidelity in relationships. He expressed his concerns, asking her to be mindful of her interactions with this new friend, particularly since she was aware of his past trauma. She reassured him that she had changed since her younger years when she admitted to having cheated in a previous relationship, claiming she was no longer that person. However, when the day of the convention arrived, he found himself feeling increasingly sidelined. He noticed that she spent the majority of her time with her new friend, engaging in close interactions like whispering, shoulder rubbing, and laughing together, which further fueled his discomfort. When he attempted to hold her hand, she pushed him away, stating she was stressed, yet continued to enjoy the company of the new guy. Later that day, he confronted her about his feelings of being ignored and expressed that her behavior was crossing boundaries, which hurt him. Instead of addressing his concerns, she dismissed them by saying she was not cheating and encouraged him to get to know her new friend. He stood firm, reiterating that her actions were affecting him negatively. The next morning, he pretended to sleep while witnessing her texting her new friend. He saw her message expressing her feelings of stress and worthlessness, which made him feel betrayed. When confronted about the text, she denied it, claiming she was messaging coworkers. However, when he pushed for honesty, she broke down, apologizing and saying she felt targeted because of his past experiences. They made up, but when they returned to the convention, she quickly sought out the new friend again, even buying him gifts. As the day ended, she informed him that she was going out for drinks with this new friend and suggested he join them, even mentioning she might stay at his hotel room. Feeling disrespected and hurt, he decided to leave, packing his belongings and driving home early in the morning without informing her. When she realized he had abandoned her, she called him, panicking and accusing him of leaving her with no options. Despite her pleas, he remained firm in his decision. He told her to enjoy her trip, asserting that their relationship was over. He also mentioned that all her belongings were still in the hotel room he had paid for and suggested that her new friend could help her get back home if necessary. 2 days later, she contacted him, but he was already processing everything that had transpired. He explained that he had shared his story with mutual friends who were shocked by her behavior. When she returned home, she begged him to talk and attempted to understand what went wrong. However, he told her that he no longer trusted her and could not continue in a relationship where he felt his feelings and boundaries were disregarded. In the end, he felt he had made the right decision by putting his foot down and not tolerating her disrespectful behavior. He expressed gratitude for the support of his friends and reflected on how the experience, while painful, helped him reaffirm his boundaries in future relationships. The protagonist finds himself grappling with the aftermath of a painful breakup with his ex-girlfriend Megan. This relationship, which spanned 3 years, had once seemed promising, with discussions about moving in together and even thoughts of marriage. However, everything changed when Megan became involved with his personal trainer, Jake. Initially, the protagonist had introduced Megan to Jake, believing their relationship was purely professional. Jake, charismatic and charming, quickly established a rapport with Megan, which the protagonist thought was just a healthy trainer-client dynamic. However, as time passed, Megan's behavior began to shift. She started coming home late from workouts and became increasingly distant, often keeping her phone on Do Not Disturb. Whenever he brought up his concerns, Megan would dismiss them, accusing him of being paranoid. The turning point came one night when Megan left her phone on the counter while she took a shower. The screen lit up with messages from Jake, revealing that their conversations went far beyond fitness. Confronted with this evidence, Megan broke down and confessed that she had been cheating on him with Jake for months. She claimed to have fallen in love with him, insisting that her infidelity was not a reflection of her feelings for the protagonist. Following their breakup, the protagonist felt a mix of betrayal and disbelief, struggling to comprehend how someone he loved could turn so quickly. As he moved forward, he dealt with the emotional fallout, recognizing that he had been blindsided by Megan's actions. In the present, he is faced with an uncomfortable situation when Megan reaches out to him again, seemingly in distress over her life's circumstances. Despite her past betrayal, she attempts to reconnect, which complicates his feelings further. He grapples with the decision of whether to engage with her or maintain the boundaries he has established to protect his emotional well-being. To add to the complexity, Megan has requested the return of birthday gifts she had given him, which were the only presents he received that year. This request feels not only ironic, but also like a desperate attempt to hold on to a connection that has long since fractured. Although he considers complying for his safety and privacy, he also feels a surge of resentment at her audacity. His friends have offered various perspectives on the situation, with some encouraging him to ignore her attempts at communication, while others suggest blocking her entirely to avoid further manipulation. He is aware that engaging with her again could lead to more emotional turmoil, and is determined to stay strong and resist her efforts to reconnect. Throughout this ordeal, he reflects on the broader implications of trust and betrayal, feeling disheartened about the nature of relationships. His faith in others has been severely shaken, leaving him wary of forming new connections. He recognizes that while some people can be genuinely faithful, his experience has tainted his outlook. Ultimately, the protagonist acknowledges the importance of self-preservation in the wake of his painful experience with Megan. He understands that cutting off contact may be the healthiest choice for his own emotional recovery, despite the lingering complexities of their past and the challenges that lie ahead in navigating relationships in the future. The narrator recounts the painful experience of being abruptly left by their ex-girlfriend Megan, who moved in with her new partner, Jake, just a week after their breakup. This swift transition shattered the narrator's world, prompting them to block her on all social media and focus on healing. They threw themselves into therapy, exercise, and spending time with friends, slowly beginning to pick up the pieces of their life despite the deep emotional scar left by the relationship. After some time, the narrator received an unexpected message from Megan, who reached out using a new number. Initially hesitant to respond, their curiosity ultimately led them to engage in a conversation with her. Megan expressed her feelings of missing the narrator, apologized for her past actions, and admitted that leaving for Jake was a significant mistake. She revealed that her relationship with Jake had quickly deteriorated after she discovered he was cheating on her, which added to her loneliness and regret. Megan claimed she had been thinking about the narrator for months and realized their previous relationship was genuine. She expressed a desire to make amends and asked if they could meet to discuss things further. Caught in a whirlwind of conflicting emotions, the narrator wrestled with lingering feelings for Megan while also grappling with the hurt she had caused. They recognized the risk of allowing her back into their life, but felt a sense of pity and nostalgia that stirred something within them. In an effort to gather perspective, the narrator chose not to respond immediately and sought advice from others on whether to hear Megan out or firmly shut the door on their past. After reflecting on the situation, the narrator ultimately decided to meet Megan for coffee, hoping to gain some closure and understand her perspective better. During their conversation, Megan apologized for her past actions and admitted that leaving the narrator for Jake was her biggest mistake, one she had been paying for ever since. She shared that her relationship with Jake had not been the fairy tale she had envisioned, and that she had faced considerable struggles in the aftermath. However, Megan also brought up issues from their previous relationship that the narrator had never fully considered. She explained that while her cheating was inexcusable, she felt underappreciated and that the narrator had been emotionally distant at times. This lack of attention and the feeling of not being prioritized contributed to her decision to seek validation from someone else. This revelation struck the narrator hard, as it forced them to confront the possibility that they had been unaware of some of Megan's emotional needs. By the end of their meeting, Megan expressed a desire to rekindle their relationship, stating she had learned from her mistakes and wanted to take things slow to prove she had changed. The narrator found themselves in a complicated emotional state, torn between the healing they had achieved in the past year and the resurfacing feelings that their conversation had evoked. They were left questioning whether both of them had made mistakes that could be addressed, given the growth they had experienced since their breakup. In seeking advice, the narrator wondered if there was any merit in attempting to rebuild their relationship, or if it would be wiser to leave the past behind. Many advised against taking her back, suggesting that her motivations for returning might be rooted in loneliness rather than genuine love. Ultimately, the narrator faced a difficult decision, weighing the potential for healing and growth against the risk of falling back into a painful cycle of heartbreak.